Hello there, welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Gloria Umezuki. The federal government launched the Green Alternative as an agriculture promotion policy to encourage Nigerians to return to the agricultural sector. But that was once a mainstay of the economy. The interview segment features an assessment of the government approach to agriculture. Chief Audu Ogbeh, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Well, Nigeria joined the rest of the world to mark this year's World Food Day. The United Nations challenged the nations around the world, to ensure zero global hunger by 2030. Now the wonder is, are we close to achieving, maybe let's say zero hunger in the country as we stand?
I think we're not too far away, even though our population is galloping ahead at nearly 3%. But in terms of food security, we really aren't doing as badly as people fear, except for food wastages.
Why would people be fearing?
We lose 30% of what we produce to post-harvest losses. And that's a major consideration. First, agriculture is still essentially a peasant enterprise, and hoe and cutlass stuff. Very little mechanization. Harvesting is tough, depending on the season. We have very little machinery to work with. Then the rural roads are so bad. There are many farmers who can't get their crops to the market. And then, of course, there's a problem of preservation. I mean, how many of the tomato baskets we carry from Katsina, Kano, Jos, Kaduna to Lagos arrive there safely? So wastage is a big issue. The other issue is how we eat. Most of what we eat is carbohydrate. The minerals, the vitamins, and so on are lacking. So a balanced diet is still not here. How many of us have access to a pint of milk a day, especially the children? How many have access to an egg a week? Not even an egg a day. And our people don't even know how to eat. If you go to my village and cook beans and ask an elderly person to eat, he feels insulted. He wants to swallow something. He may manage rice, but he's more comfortable with pounded yam or amala or eba. Now that is okay when there's some soup with it, but the cassava and the yam is all carbohydrate essentially. So we may not lack for food to eat, but whether we are eating well is another issue.
You see, when you mentioned that there's really no serious cause, for alarm when it comes to zero hunger, or achieving zero hunger, then one might begin to wonder, because you mentioned a lot of very salient points, yes. Transportation, storage facilities, which are really major. They're huge, huge. Let's say hindrances, for this issue of food to gain ground in the country. So when you say there's no need, to panic, and on one hand you also list out, these deficiencies. So what are you trying to say? How do you connect
What I'm trying to say is this: food production is increasing appreciably. Infrastructural development is lacking, and I'll mention one particular area. The local government system in Nigeria has to 95% collapsed. Who is grading the rural village roads for the farmer, not even tarring them? Who's putting small drainages there? So a farmer is in some remote area, harvests his crops and can't even move them out to the market. And a buyer can't access the food. Those are shortages which we have to address. I have been complaining and praying that we must reform the local government system. The so-called joint account between state governments and local governments is not working. Many states are not allowing the funds meant for local governments to get to them. 22% of Nigeria's distributable income is meant for 774 local governments. As at now, that money is under the control of 36 men. So if we are to make improvements in agriculture, food security, food marketing, improve the lives of the rural farmers, make them richer and happier, we have to do certain reforms that may not have anything to do directly with agriculture.
So you're saying there's a huge diversion going on?
Yes, because a huge diversion Local governments, when I was younger, had farms. They gave scholarships, right? They built hospitals. They built bridges. Today, you go to a local government, hardly any local government has a grader, not to talk about bulldozer. They do nothing. And
yet a lot of money is being pumped in for that purpose.
22% of Nigeria's distributable income, according to the revenue sharing formula, is meant to go to 774 local governments.
So
it doesn't get there.
Why do we sit and fold our arms when apparently there's daylight robbery going on?
Well, I'm saying this because, and I'm talking to the National Assembly. Recently, they gave autonomy to the courts and to houses of assembly. They forgot to mention the local governments. Even the houses of assembly, which are supposed to pass the law giving autonomy to the local governments, are afraid to do so because they're scared of their governors. We are committing a heinous crime against the rural people to whom we are now rushing for votes. And that's a very serious matter. It's affecting a whole lot of things. Health, education. You pass through a village, the primary school is not repaired. The market stalls are all leaking and full of thatch. Meanwhile, the local government goes there to collect revenue from some poor woman with just one basket of yams. It is bad, but the political class simply pretends it is not happening. And I have never spared an opportunity to mention this fact, that unless and until we deal with that thing, we are not being just and fair to the Nigerian populace.
You also raised a voice about rising unemployment right now, especially the youths who are left, just sitting doing nothing.
Exactly.
Of course, which is a great threat to the nation's stability. That's the word you used. Yes. So now we're wondering, how is the federal government going to intervene? You want to lift them out of this ground they're on. How do you intend to go about it? What strategies are in place?
There are 774 local governments, yes. 36 states plus FCT, and then one federal government. Of course, everybody focuses on the federal government. Every problem is Buhari's to solve. But we have a federation. The states have their budgets. They have money. The local governments are expected to have money. The federation account is shared by 3 tiers of government. But no, people simply also must ask in their states, what is my governor doing? The federal government is trying its best. I told you what we're trying to do today with the LIFE program. We're trying to get machinery into the hands of younger people, because without that, they can't access credit. They can't open an LC. They can't raise a bank loan. They have no collateral to post. But we cannot, as a government, as elders, people of my age, sit and watch younger people simply wasting away.
Throw more light on that, the loan of some sort. Yes.
Now, the program is called Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprise. The idea is to take machinery to rural areas for women and youth to produce things. Palm oil, groundnut oil, cassava processing, jute production, jams and marmalades, right? We're bringing machines from India, China, Brazil, and so on, and the US.
How many of them, and how much does it cost?
The numbers are pretty large, because we're just about to start the program now. We have a good provision for it in this year's budget. We've received some amount of money. We're going to start now bringing the machines and selling to these young people, because without that, I call it hand-walking the younger generation and the women into industry.
How much have you received so far for that?
Well, this year, we have in our budget about 4 billion naira. It's not a large sum, but since we are very economical with what we do, we buy from the source to make sure that we don't lose money to middlemen and people who may buy us the wrong machines, which can't function.
So how do you check that?
We do by buying directly from manufacturers whom we know, who are therefore accountable to us, using our embassies abroad to make sure, because our officials have gone and checked on these things. But it's important. Younger people are losing faith in their country, in their parents.
Well, thank you for your mails and tweets as always. Keep sending in your views and comments using the email address and Twitter handle on your screen. Also, be sure to share anything happening within your locality. Don't you forget, you can view the program on youtube.com/channelsweb/videos. Thank you for watching this week. I'm Gloria Umezuke. See you again.